Hello, my friend. Welcome to Simply Draw. I'm Elaine, and today you and I are going to sketch out this American Tree Sparrow. So you need a scrap piece of paper, a pen that you like, and let's get going. So we're going to start on his forehead and have a fairly steep angle up. And then there's the crest and a slight curve on the back of his head and his neck. It curves down right here to his back. Now this curve here ends higher than his bill. So I'm gonna have to fix mine, put that there. Let's put in his the bottom part of his bill, some very loose light feathers under his throat, going down, changing the angle to go to his chest, and curving under his tummy, down past his leg, under part of his tummy. It's a little bit flat for a while. Then we come around to his bum feathers that are all sticking out there. Now for his back, this angle is huge. Let's see. If that's the back of his neck, it almost ends at his forehead. Okay, here. And then I want to do a slight curve along his back. Don't take it down very far, you guys, because he's balanced pretty level on the reed. And then this angle here that changes to his tail, it's almost the same as the bottom part where the bottom of his bill is. So let's just have the angle about there. And okay, let's put in his bill. And we'll color in that dark part of his bill. And the yellow, if you can see from the reference, it cuts up, and then he's got some slightly dark gray feathers that just in front of his eye. This band underneath. So just focus on getting his face in right now, you guys. As I color his bill. And when you position the eye, see how the bottom part of his eye is like midway through the top of his bill, okay? And also put his eye like forward in his face, because this distance from the edge of his eye forward, this is small, and then this is really big, okay? With the side of his face leading into like his neck and almost the back of his head, because his head is turned toward us. So put the eye kind of like closer to his bill. And leave that white patch where the light is reflecting off the curve of the eyeball. And then do these darker markings around his eye. Keep your pen away from the actual eyeball itself, because he's got those white tissue markings or lighter feathers as a ring around his eyeball. So see how huge I left that ring? It's just because it's easier to make it a little bit big and take it in later. So this patch is actually quite big, and then this is kind of like darker brown feathers. Way too heavy with my pen. I don't like the way that looks at all. Okay, and then this piece at the back of his eye, where the dark brown feathers are. And I want to put in his crest. It's a nice russet color. It goes around to the back of his head. Not a super even line, so keep it jagged if you can. Of course you can. So there's lots of different shades in this guy. There's the different tones of gray, there's different shades of brown. So we're not going to worry too much about all that. Oh man, you guys, man, look how heavy I did the ink around his eye. It looks silly. Don't do that. Okay. Lighten this up. And to the back of his head, a little bit of gray through here. There's his eye, and then the dark feathers are combined with some of the rust colored feathers. This band. Spread it out a little bit, and it does kind of like bleed up to a little tiny patch of rust right at the back of his head. Okay. Oh, maybe I'm coloring outside the beach. Not that you guys really need to see what I'm doing. His eye is like way too big here with these different dark bands around it. Okay, do a little bit of this shading here onto his cheek, okay? Just different variations in the gray. down to his chest. He's this dark patch here. So on his cheek, I'll take this down a little bit. And then there is this band of lighter colors here, lighter gray, where his, because his head is kind of like turned toward us, so this is, we'll just have this light band through here that goes up to the back of his neck. Boy, he's awfully dark. Okay, so now we've done this band through here. Let's go start putting in these dark patches along his shoulder. And these top patches lead into this, and then there's this light gray here that leads into this kind of like other shade of brown along his back. Just want to darken this up a little bit. Okay, and then there's a lighter strip underneath that. And then we're getting into kind of like a darker patch, this little patch here, and then across, which is more brown. And here we've got one of the wing feathers that's quite dark. Let's go back here. We've got this one on his shoulder. Some lighter, leave that, keep our pen away from that white section. And then we're just putting in like this band of brown. And from here, we've got underneath, we've got some of these darker little sections of the dark brown in this band of wing feathers, and it goes right down to his shoulder here. Let's put in this little bit of shading on the curve of his tummy. Okay, now we're gonna, this we've sort of done. Let's go, keep going underneath. We need this darker patch of little wing feathers here, and then we've got this feather, which is the border of his wing, and these kind of all come and fold. It goes straight a little bit, and then it kind of curves toward the back, and we can put in some dark bars here for the edges of these feathers. They all kind of like fold nicely together. Oh, darn. Okay, keep your pen away to make this. This is a white border right here. I wasn't doing that. So we're just putting in some of these dark borders here. Now, you see how these feathers are all kind of like stacked one on top of the other? Let's do those edges. So the bottom feathers go almost all the way to his bum, and we can curve those around a little bit, and let's color in the tips. we're gonna move back a little bit and do the next one. And these are kind of hidden the way they're stacked on top of each other. And then we've got all these feathers that sort of like line up and meet. Like that. And then we're getting into, okay, where do we want to go? Let's go up a little bit and let's put in this dark chocolate brown band right here. Just to see. And it stops above these. Oh, it curves down and around. Okay, so I just want to do this chocolate band. It's kind of fat, then it goes narrow, then it's like dark at the tip. Okay, and then there's this dark band here. Oh, okay. Look at, okay, my positioning is off. Oh, what a surprise. So, see this dark triangle that we drew here, and then this dark patch here? Kind of like, fix it if you can. For me, I can't. But anyway, let's go and we're gonna do this. Okay, so we've done this one. Now I want to do this dark patch above the one that we just drew. So this kind of comes in. Turn your page, you guys, so that you can see what you're doing. Kind of comes in. There's not that much white space between the two of them. Let's color that one in. Maybe back this up a little bit. And then the third one, this chocolate brown patch. Okay. So does it kind of like give the impression of the chocolate brown tips of his wing feathers? I hope so. He looks like he's in a windstorm. Holy Toledo. Okay. Now, let's go back up to the back of the neck. And then this patch here, right on the top of his back, it's a different shade from all this under here. So let's go to the back of his neck and we're gonna put in these dark markings, just kind of like little lightning bolts. Along his back. And then it just kind of like, we'll just, anybody have any suggestions? Okay. Let's kind of like shade in all this part here, you guys, and head off toward his tail. So, oh, okay, so I don't like this angle. Let's just change this a little bit. And he looks so fat. Let's take his tail out. And here we're gonna do his bum feathers up and then take it out to his tail. It's all ragged and shaded underneath. And then into his little bum feathers here. And right where his body feathers kind of like bump up against his tail. There's a little bit of shading there. We can like color this in lightly. And darker under his tail. The underneath part of the feathers are a little bit dark and it's lightly shaded here. Now let's put in his other wing, and where we're gonna go is we're gonna use this tip. See these feathers end basically right at the edge of his, there's shading here under his bum, a little bit of shading here with the curve of his body, because see how the wing sticks out from his body because it's long, and so that's what's happening here. This wing is like sticking out from and this shadow, there's curve of his body underneath, and then there's shadow under the wing and stuff. But let's go back, see how this edge here, let's just extend that, and that's gonna mark the bottom of the wing on the other side, and it's really quite heavy with those feathers, and then those feathers. So like make that nice and dark. I think they're dark feathers anyway, and then they're in shadow. A little bit of highlighting, right? Where you can see the nice light brown, and then the tips, right? The white tips, which is some of these. So don't go nuts. That's that. Let's color in, just do some shading under his bum. And we're doing this here, and then this patch of shading here, the curve of his body. Oh, I wish he didn't look like he was standing in front of a hairdryer. I hope I can, remedy that. Let's do all this shading underneath his wing, you guys. So I just want to like darken that up there. And bring down color in his body. And make sure you're happy with the angle here. So let's see, I want to have my picture level. I've got the fluffy feathers underneath his throat, goes out to his chest, kind of comes down straight a little bit, and then curves into his tummy. and then his leg, and then his other leg. Okay, so I just want to let's just get down some color here. This is actually quite pale, and then some shading underneath his bum. Jeepers creepers. Oh man, oh man, oh. I guess we're gonna have to put in some borders around these wings. So we're gonna have to take in a little bit of the chocolate and the not the chocolate, the light brown. At least we can leave them the white wing bars there. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is put in his legs. Oh my god, there's so much to do. There's so much fixing to do. He needs to go off to the art shop for a major makeover. Okay, so let's, this back foot right here, this is his foot, you guys. It's not part of a leg. Okay, so underneath his wing, we go down. Oh, I think this distance is too much for me. Can I do anything about that? Of course I can. Cut off his tummy. So this foot, okay, just try your best. Put it right there. And then he's got his long toes with the long nails, and nails coming this way and other nails going that way. And this is all nice and dark because it's underneath his body for one reason. And the other reason is that I think it's black anyway. Okay. There we go with one foot. And then here, okay, so this is like kind of a sharp angle underneath these layers of wing bars. So let's just put his leg in like this, take it into the body, keep it narrow for now, and because we can make it fatter later. And then this toe is kind of almost straight around the reed. And then we've got the joint of his foot. And then the other toe underneath the reed. And this is a little edge, little tip of his other toe. So let's like get this in. Mine can be like a little heavier. Let's try putting in our reed now. To help us figure out where his feet should be. I knew this one was going to be like really tough to draw. I was right. Oh God. Don't worry, the birdie ain't gonna fix you up. Wouldn't let you go outside looking like this. Okay, the least we can do is shade in our reed, okay? So his body is casting a shadow on it. So let's just make sure that part's a little bit darker underneath where he is. Okay. Wow. Well, let's just start again at the top. Okay. So, okay. Seriously, I want to fix him up. Obviously. Because he looks like crap right now. And we're not allowed to put any crap on our wall. It's a rule. So, you choose. I'm going to try to keep myself out of your way. What I want you to do now is just go back over him and start fixing the things that you don't like. Angles, shading, and anything that you can kind of correct by putting in more contrast. Of course, we're working with a pen, so we can't reduce anything. But what we can do is we can bump up the contrast by putting in more shading where we want to have like a little bit more definition. Okay, so we want to make sure that it looks like his head is turned toward us. I'm just going to darken up these colors. There's a little bit of rust. Maybe. Do I want to change this angle? I'm going to take this out a little bit more. Simply draw or simply make a mess? Now see how with my little guy, it doesn't look like his face is turned toward me. And I want to fix that. So what I need to do is work on this shading around his face. Just take my time. And pay attention to the details. Because that is what's so good for our brains and so difficult to do. Which is why we're focusing on sketching anyway. Because if this was easy, then we wouldn't have to think so hard about it, right, you guys? But because it's so damn challenging, our brains are getting a complete and utter painful workout. At least mine is. A bit more shading under his wing. I'll just try to add some of the colors for his tummy. The bum feathers. These right here, that's the little dark patch right here, where his body is, his wing is probably casting a shadow here. Those are lighter. That's shaded, and in shadow, it's lighter on top. His tail feathers are quite jumbled. And I'm wondering if this tail should be a little bit longer. Just do this little slightly darker patch on his back. I want more definition here. To show that where these feathers, where the wing feathers are kind of like separate from his back. Let's work on these lightning bolts. Some of them are they could be more distinct in my picture. There's just very, very slight along that part, and then you can see like a really big one that comes kind of down. Not really like this at all. I'm getting all messed up. Okay, this one here will be a little bit bigger. See, he's really dark, you guys. I don't really like this at all. Now this, just kind of going over again everything that I scribbled the first time to see if I can salvage I don't know, I'm gonna have to ask thing too when he gets home, whether or not this guy's good enough for the wall. Personally, I don't think he is. Oh, this is a little angle of mine. I've done mine too big. As if that's the only boo-boo on this thing. Okay, let's just... Well, he still looks crappy. We're just going for degrees of a smaller degree of crappiness than in the past. How's... God, I don't even want to ask how yours is. It's probably like flippin' fabulous. In which case, I'd be totally jealous. Does this need to come back more? No. No. Don't get carried away. This is actually like not too bad. This is too fat. I think its tail should have been thinner. There, and that. Okay, you know what, you guys? He was a huge challenge. Big time challenge. And I just hope that yours is not too bad. Oh man, after a day like today, maybe you'll never come back. But please do. It can only get better. Thanks. Thanks for keeping me company. Have a great day. See you next time.